Hi, we're just about to enter the Trecena of Ajmak. Now, Ajmak is the Nawal of pardon and forgiveness. And as you can imagine, Ajmak, well, there's some reasons for pardoning, there's some reasons for forgiving. This next 13-day period might not be the best time to be doing stuff which is, let's say, mission critical, right? You don't want to be doing the stuff where if there's an error it's going to create a big problem, because this is a time when we might be doing stuff through trial and error. This is a time of a bit of testing going on. And testing is fine. Testing is how we understand how to get the best out of situations. But we have to kind of release our expectations. We have to release our attachments to the results of those tests, because sometimes they won't go in the way that we planned them. Sometimes we're going to have to forgive. This is a great time to begin a forgiveness process. This is a great time to be turning over a new leaf, to be saying, right, okay, what's happened has happened. Let's get over that and move on. Because, one of the things that I like to look at is where this Trecena starts, obviously, but where it's going. And where it's going is to 13 Anil. And 13 Anil, well, Anil being the joy, being the harvest, being the abundance. And the 13 coming from spirit. So it's kind of like all the abundance of spirit that comes to us when we understand how to work with the Ajmak Trecena. So is it going to be easy? Well, maybe not necessarily. Is it going to be fun? Again, maybe not necessarily. Maybe there's going to be a few errors in there. But this is where we've got to embrace the sweetness, because this is the wonderful thing about Ajmak. Ajmak, when we really understand how to forgive, when we really understand how to open up our heart and forgive from the bottom of our hearts the errors of others and our own errors, this is what leads to that sweetness from spirit. So it's not a time to be taking things too seriously either. And you may find with Ajmak, it's love of the sensual. This may come into play. That's often what may, let's say, lead to a few of the errors. That's what may lead us off course from time to time. But at the same time, it's for us to learn. It's for us to embrace being human. It's for us to embrace the fact that we are individuals. We can't be put into one box. We are not this stereotype. We can't be formed by society. We are ourselves, and we're here experiencing what it is to be a human on planet Earth, and everything that brings along with it. And sometimes that stuff isn't pretty, and sometimes that stuff doesn't work out the way we hoped it would. But it's what it is, and we are what we are. So we just got to accept each other, smile, and get the joy out of it. So tomorrow we begin the day, one Ajmak. As I said, beginnings, new beginning, new forgiveness, new ways of forgiving. Beginning to forgive something that you might not have been able to forgive before. These are all things that we can do today. And, as we make our ceremonies, as we give our thanks, as we ask for forgiveness, this is kind of like refining ourselves, remembering that we're only human, and really kind of like accepting each other. So, like turning over a new leaf is a great way to start this Trecena. We then go into 2 Noch. Well, 2 can be about self-sacrifice. Noch is about solutions. So it's kind of like we can see it, it's like, right, okay, what part of myself do I have to give in order to solve this problem? Again, if we come back to the idea of it being within the Ajmak Trecena, it's like, how can I put my energy into creating a solution to a problem which may have been of my own making? Okay, so there may be a little bit of self-sacrifice. It's going to be a bit of your time, a bit of your energy in order to make it better, because it might not get better by itself. Then we go to 3 Tihash. Well, 3, that number, which as I often say, is all about the inner work. It's about looking inside. And Tihash, well, we can see that as both the warrior and the healer. So in some ways we might be looking at working on our inner warrior, building that strength within us, cutting away the things that we don't need. Maybe that's judgment, maybe that's blame, maybe that's shame, maybe that's guilt. That's what Tihash can cut away from you. That's what it can heal within you. So it might not be the day when you want to be outside. It might not be the day when you want to socialize. It may be a day for introspection. But introspection brings healing. We then move into 4 Kawok. So Kawok, the one that washes away, the one that soothes, the healer, this is in the material world, because it's the four, so it's the four directions, the plane of the four directions, the material world. So this is all about bringing that healing out into the material world, bringing your compassion. That's a big element that's associated with Kawok, bringing compassion into the physical world, because again, this is an aspect of forgiveness. We've got to be compassionate towards ourselves and others in order to truly forgive. Next up comes 5 Achpu. So, Achpu, the quest for the divine. Achpu, finding that divinity all around us, finding it in everybody around us. Again, this is what we get when we go through that forgiveness process. We recognise everybody is as divine as everybody else. We might be as divinely messed up as everybody else as well. And that's what makes us human. Now the number 5, that's the hand, that's work. So this would be working on your divinity, working on seeing the divine around, and it's work. This is again this aspect of forgiveness. It's not something that we can just expect to fall in our laps. It's something we've got to put our energy into. Put your energy into looking for that divinity. Don't just expect it to pop out. This is a time to really sort of search deep within yourself and others to find out what the divine aspect is. See that divinity in their heart and forgive them. Next up comes 6 Imosh. Well, Imosh can represent this. It represents our lake, it represents the great bodies of water, it represents the collective consciousness, it represents the dream world. And the number 6, this is that stability in the physical plane with the connection from above and below. So this can be kind of like connecting above and below to the divine masculine and divine feminine, bringing that into the physical plane, using that to manifest your dreams. That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it would be saying, right, okay, in this time of forgiveness, as we're moving through the Ajmak Trecena, it's like look to the sky, look to the earth, look to the divine masculine, look to the divine feminine. Use those principles, draw them into the physical plane, and help to use them to understand how it is to forgive and what it is to forgive. We then move into 7 Ich. Now 7 Ich is one, I always like to use this phrase, the final word, because we have the 7, which represents the top of the pyramid. It can represent death, it can represent endings, it represents this finality, because we see the first apparition of a Nawal is the number 1, the last apparition is the number 7. If we look across the calendar, we see 1 and 7 encompass everything else. So 7 is all about endings, and Ich is the word, it's the communication. So this might be kind of like, right, okay, let's put this to bed. We've had enough time holding that grudge. We've had enough time blaming. We've had enough time arguing, or whatever it is. Let's make some final words, okay? Because the Ich is the inspiration. It's the balance point. The 7 is the balance point within the Trecena. So it's like the balance of the communication. So again, maybe if there was a conversation that you need to have with somebody to clear the air, to resolve an issue, to ask for pardon, or to pardon them, then the day 7 Ich is a really good way to get your point across in a balanced way that brings a kind of finality of communication. The ceremonial day of this Trecena, the 8th day, 8 Achabal. So here we've gone through the 20 days from 1 Achabal through to 8 Achabal. 8 Achabal, the wholeness, the beginning and the end in one place, the 1 and the 7 together as the 8. And here we see the wholeness of the dawn, the wholeness of the new concept. So this is something where we're looking at it and we're saying, right, okay, what's coming in? What's the new stuff that's coming in? What did our day 7 Ich, when we had the final word, when we had the final resolution to something, what did it spawn? It spawned a totality of a new concept that we can bring in. As a Chabal representing the new day, the new dawn that comes, the new sun, the new life that comes in. We can see that this is coming in completely, this is coming in wholly, this is encompassing all aspects of life and death into one place. And this concept comes as a result of our work throughout this Trecena. So this is a great day to bring a new concept in, but a fully formed new concept, accepting all aspects and all angles of that concept, a new life which is coming into the world. We're then going to move into 9 cat. So cat being the harvest, cat being the net which we collect things in, the net which we collect our harvest in, the net that we collect our abundance in, but also that which snares us, that which binds us. So we've got the two sides of the net, and we have it here combined with the number 9. So the number 9 represents the women, it represents the divine feminine. The number 9 can also represent life itself. So this is a gathering of life. This is a great day for gatherings of women, for women's circles to be held on. But this is also a day when we recognise all the abundance that's come to us from life, that which comes into our net. We then move from 9 cat into 10 can. So, can, the serpent energy, the lightning in our vein, the lightning in our blood, the ki, the chi, the prana, whatever it is that we want to call it. This is represented by can. It's the wisdom that comes to us through using our energy, the wisdom that comes to us. It represents our teacher. It is our teacher. The energy that flows through our veins is our teacher, but it also can represents the teachers that we encounter in our life. Now the number 10 represents this. It's the two hands coming together. It's community, it's society, it's cooperation. And so here we can see a day when we might cooperate with each other, we might stretch out our hands, where we might use our cooperative abilities to bring wisdom into our community. After 10 can, we move into 11 kame. So 11 kame, this is a high numbered kame day. We might expect a few challenges to come up, because Kame is always going to make us look at our challenges. It's always going to bring us the strength to get through our challenges. But that number 11 going here, there and everywhere, all over the place. This is a day when, well, as I say, we're in the Ajmak Trecena. 11 Kame, maybe not the easiest day to navigate, but remember, it's giving you the strength to push through it. So you might see challenge after challenge after challenge come in from different directions on the 11 Kame day, but that 11 Kame is going to lead to stability in the future. So it's strong, it's going to come in, we've got to face it, we've got to go through it. We then move into another strong day, 12 Kech. Kech, or Kech being the natural world, the greenness, the mountains, the forests. Kech being the Nawal of the spiritual leader. And this would suggest using all of your life's experience in order to lead, using all of your life's experience to go into the mountains, to go into the forests, but also kind of like recounting on what experiences you've drawn from the natural world in the past. This is a day of strength. It's an extremely strong day. All Kech days are strong. 12 Kech is especially so. So this is a time for strong messages from nature, and to bring together all the messages that you've received in the past, all the messages of nature that you've received in the past, in order to help to understand how to forgive. Okay? And then finally we end up in this day of 13 Anil, so this day of prosperity in one way or another, this day of great harvest, this day of great joy, this day of joy of the spirit world, this day of abundance, of prosperity that comes from the spirit world. So it's a special day. It's a very strong day. Really, this is a day which could bring very great joy. And it's like, okay, well, we've finally reached the end of the Ajmak Trecena, and here we are. We've gone through it. We've sweetened our hearts. We've made our forgiveness of ourselves and others, and finally we get to this point where we realise that we can bring great joy through it. Okay, and so this is the 13th Anil. It's a day when we might also look at the other aspects of Anil, the ripening, the yellow light, the goldening that comes from our ancestors, from working with our ancestors, from receiving messages from our ancestors. So we have that side of it as well. So this is a big day to keep your ears open, keep your wits about you, because it may well be that just the last piece of the puzzle that you were looking for in this Trecena of forgiveness comes in from your ancestors on the day 13 Anil, and brings you to a more ripened, more golden, more yellow and more joyful state. Okay, so thanks very much for listening once again. I'll see you again in 13 days time. Bye.